communication, this would create a thriving classroom community. There are many benefits of parents and teachers working together. Some of them include students achieving higher grades, having better test performance, a higher student attendance rate, better behavior at school, and positive attitudes towards school, and also more self-confidence in the students. So my personal story with having a positive parent-teacher relationship started in elementary school when my parents would come in as parent helpers. I used to love when they would come in. It made me always want to work a lot harder whenever they were there so I could show them that I am learning, and I always thought that it was really cool that they came in. I felt like they were friends with my teacher, so I always thought that was really fun. In 6th grade, when my school went on our 6th grade camp, which is basically a nature retreat at Cuyahoga Valley National Park, my birthday landed on one of the days that we were staying there. The teacher that I had that year and that came on the camp retreat with us, I didn't necessarily like her, but she and my mother had really good communication. So because of that, my mom was able to come out for the evening and celebrate my birthday at the camp. So although I didn't really like the teacher, there were a lot of benefits for me as the student because she and my mom had really good communication and they had a positive relationship between each other. In high school, I had a teacher who taught Spanish, and that was one of my harder classes. He would make phone calls to parents to basically let them know that their child is doing well in the classroom. He never really made any negative phone calls, any phone calls for concerns that he had, but he would for good behavior or if there was a student that was doing particularly well. He called my dad once and told him that I was doing really well in the class. It made me feel really good about myself, and it made me really proud of the work that I was doing in his class. So it made me keep wanting to work harder so I could have more calls like that. So my innovative ideas, obviously my goal is to have a positive parent-teacher relationship. And there are a few ways that I would like to go about that. So some of the things I would say is to have an open line of communication. So letting my students' parents know that they can easily reach me through email or phone anytime throughout the year for questions, comments, concerns, anything they may have to talk to me about. I also would like to have a classroom where my students' parents are always welcome to come in, if it's just to read a book on their birthday, or if they just want to stop in and be the student helper for the day. That is something that I would really like to have in a classroom. I also would like to keep parents involved and in the know as much as possible. So one way I would do that is to have behavior cards sent home every week, or a monthly newsletter sent home. I also would like to do weekly phone calls for students that are doing exceptionally well, or for students that I obviously might have concerns with. Also, I think that it's important to do a phone call at the beginning of the year to every family so they can kind of get a feel for who I am as a teacher. I can kind of understand the family, the way the family is structured, and they also might clue me into some important things about their student. I also think that it's really important to get to know students on a personal level. I actually spoke with one of my friends who is a mother, and she said that the most important thing a teacher can do to make their relationship positive, the parent and the teacher's relationship, is for the teacher to get to know the student as much as possible and make it so that way they don't feel like their child is just another number in the classroom. So I chose physical environment for one of my innovative ideas. And at the beginning of the school year, I would like to give out a survey to each of my students so they could fill out their interests, hobbies, some of their favorite things like TV shows, sports, whatever they may really love. I would like to use that as a way to set up my classroom. So if I have a student who really loves football, maybe I'll have some football posters, or I could make a sporty themed bulletin board. Or if I have a student who really likes dance, I could get some books about dancing and make sure that they're age appropriate and developmentally appropriate, so that way the child can read them instead of me having to read them for the student. I also would like to set up a Star of the Week board. I think that's a really fun way to get to know my students because it allows them to be creative and to set up the board the way they would like it set up, and also allows them to share with their classmates and find out what they have in common as well. One of the assessment strategies that I would use would be a behavior card like I mentioned earlier. These behavior cards would be sent home obviously every day, and it would basically just tell the parent your child had a good day, your child had a bad day, and I would require a parent signature at the end of whenever it's returned, so that way I know the parent saw it and I know that we are keeping active communication throughout the week. Another thing that I would like to do is weekly phone calls. I think a good idea would be to have my students write down their top 5 favorite people, so that way those are 5 people that I can call when their student is doing something really good and I want to tell them about how great their child is doing, what good behavior they had, or if they did something outstanding in the classroom, like help out a classmate. I think it's very important to not only call with concerns, but very important to call with positive things as well. It kind of helps to make your relationship with a parent more positive, I believe. So parental involvement is something that's going to be very important for my classroom in early childhood education. I would like them to be as involved as possible, so once a week I would like to have a parent helper come in and they can help facilitate activities, give easy assessments, maybe grade papers, just something that will help me out and will also give them an active role in the classroom. For students' birthdays, I would like for their parents or their favorite person to come in and they can read the birthday student's favorite book, and they can bring in a healthy snack, and they would be more than welcome to stay for the duration of the afternoon or the morning, or they could just come in for that time. That would be fine as well. And then I also know that there are a lot of parents that work full-time and they would like to be involved in the classroom, but because of scheduling or time commitments, they wouldn't be able to come in. I would like to set up a take-home bag for them so that they can still feel like they are helping out in the classroom. This could just be like grading a few papers, or cutting out things for bulletin boards, whatever it is. I want to make sure that parents know that they can always help out even if they aren't able to come to the classroom. Literature connections. Teachers promote children's development of respect for others, conscience, self-control through positive guidance techniques, involving children in establishing clear, responsible rules for social living and conflict resolution, enforcing consistent consequences for unacceptable or harmful behavior, and meeting with an individual child having problems or with the child and parents together to discuss situations. Schools can plan activities early in the school year that serve to introduce families and school personnel in a positive setting rather than waiting until problems arise. So this would be an example like an open house or a beginning of the school phone call to kind of get to know the family and get to know the child. Early care providers need to engage parents as soon as their child is enrolled in the program to ask for assistance in understanding the child's background and the family's goals for the child. Teachers and families share information in ways that are clear, respectful, and constructive. Families are periodically informed about how their children are doing in all developmental domains and across academic disciplines. This would be an example of having a monthly newsletter or a weekly phone call home. Teachers and administrators view families as partners in the educational process. Families' visits to school are welcomed. Family events and a variety of opportunities for participation in the school and classroom are planned, and these are scheduled with families' needs in mind. Members of each child's family are encouraged to participate in the classroom in ways they feel comfortable, which would be examples of having a parent helper, or for parents that work full-time, they would be able to take papers home and do some work from home.